can see the visuals and figure out that it's still heavily raining and we can barely stand. That is the kind of wind speed we are experiencing, at least in Jakhau, where the landfall commenced yesterday, and in the midnight only it started to get worse, because that's when the eye of the storm actually hit the coast, and that's when the maximum damage impact was seen. Now, what we can see on the ground, the situation definitely is normal, and when I say it's normal, we mean that what the authorities hope for the best. There has been no casualties, but of course there has been many trees have been uprooted, many temporary shelters have come down, and the NDRF, SDRF teams are working on it. But even after the the eye of the storm has hit the coast, and even after the cyclone has touched a landmark yesterday, you can see that it's still heavily raining. There has been no casualties, but the people are still advised to stay indoors and not venture out, because this situation is very, very dangerous right now. You can see it's heavily, massively raining, and we can hardly stand. We could hardly navigate. That's why people are being asked to not venture out, because they can hardly navigate through the streets. Many trees have been uprooted. This is what the SDRF and the NDRF teams are telling us. There has been no casualty, and that was the priority of the state administration and the authorities. But the people who have been living in the shelter homes are going to stay put there for at least for the next 2 days, because for the next 2 days the red alert has been issued in the entire state of Gujarat, because as you can see, it's very heavily raining, and only and all the hotels, all the shelter homes across the state of Gujarat, the shelter homes which were made, and especially in Jakhau and Pandey, absolutely all the shelter homes have now run out of the basic facilities like food and water. That's what we are learning from the people who are living inside, because many power, the critical infrastructure was massively hit, and many power connection, many power plants, many power, in fact, these kind of posts were collapsed, was devastated after the cyclone yesterday, and that's why it's becoming a Herculean task for the power authorities, for the power department, to ensure that power comes back, because 940 villages have been snapped out of power, and this is happening for the last 3 days. And water is something which it's a basic necessity, and all the shelter homes where at least thousands of people are living, because yesterday we have been reporting how more than 75-80,000 people have been evacuated and have been moved to shelter homes. So these shelter homes have now run out of water. So that has now become the priority of the state government, to ensure that at least water and power backup could be provided to these shelter homes and the houses and the hotels. Now, what is most important is that 22 people have been injured, at least 23 animals have been killed, and 940 villages have been snapped out of power. But there have been many incidents where the trees have been uprooted. So that's why people are being asked to stay indoors. You can see in the visuals and figure out that it is raining so heavily that we can hardly stand, and it is going to be like this at least till today. That's what the Met Department, that's what the authorities in Gujarat are saying. So most importantly, people are being asked to stay indoors and not venture out on the streets, because it is going to be extremely dangerous. The situation, the temporary shelters can collapse in this kind of a wind speed. What we are picking up is that the wind speed right now is at 110 to 115, and with this kind of a wind speed, there is a probability, there is an apprehension of a lot of more collapse and damage. So that's why all the authorities, all the administration on the ground have been asked to stay put where they were. Preparedness remains to be the same.
Right, Tanushree, we are getting a sense of how bad that storm is. It continues to be a severe cyclone, even though it made landfall and that process was completed by midnight. It's been hours since, it's been 10 hours since that landfall process was completed. Tanushree there reporting from the ground from Jakhau Port, where landfall started at 6 o'clock in the evening. Tanushree, if I do see some cars behind you. People are trying to venture out. a word of caution to all those out there. I mean, you can't even stand as far as the situation on the ground is concerned, and there are people who are moving about. Do you see people who are now actually venturing out into as far as the storm is concerned?
Well, Parmeshwar, people are, now people are just getting desperate, and there have been no power, absolutely no power and no water since yesterday. In fact, since 3 days back in the area of Jakhau, and that's why now many people who have pregnant women at their homes, who have elderly women at their home, they are now getting desperate for water and also for food, which has become a luxury, because with this kind of with this kind of a situation, you can imagine what must be the situation on the ground. Basic necessities have become a luxury. There is no food, there is no power, and there is no water as well. So now many people, of course, are getting desperate. They are not listening to the directives of the administration, and they are trying to basically arrange for some food or for some water. But definitely there needs to be a word of caution, because administration is asking people to not come out on the street and to stay indoors, because as you can see, it's so heavily raining that we can hardly stand, and this is the situation. This is still 10 to 15 kilometers away from the Jakhau Port, where the landfall basically commenced and where the eye of the storm hit the coast. So you can only imagine what the situation there must be. We are going to travel and we are going to get you more updates and reports from the area which is closer, which is nearby to the place to the Jakhau Port, where the eye of the storm hit the coast. But yes, to all our viewers and through our channel, we would like to request people that they must listen to the directives of the administration and stay indoors, because this time it is very bad and the situation outside is extremely dangerous. The wind speed is constantly picking up. Though the intensity of the cyclone has started to going down, it's now going to go into depression. But the wind speed is constantly picking up. Now, the many people who have cars, who have vehicles, are coming out because they are getting desperate. They need food, they need water. But what needs to be told, what needs to be right now implemented, is that people do not venture out of their houses, because the administration is saying that it's not over yet. The cyclone is still showing its impact on the ground. The wind speed is not coming down. It's still at 100, 110 to 115. It's massively severely raining. People need to stay indoors. They are trying to do their best to ensure that the power comes back, and at least they could arrange for water and food, which many villages, many shelter homes and almost all the hotels across the area of Kutch have run out of. Back to you.